Deep within the world's jungles, a hidden life unfolds. Sunlight struggles to reach the forest floor. It filters through a dense canopy of leaves, painting the ground in shifting patterns of light and shadow. The air is thick with the scent of damp earth, decaying leaves, the sweet perfume of unseen blossoms. Here, life is a constant hum of activity. Insects buzz, birds call from high branches, the rustle of unseen creatures marks the passage of time. This is a world of secrets. Many animals live their lives far from human eyes, following ancient rhythms of survival that have played out for millennia. In this intricate and veiled world, a quiet and graceful animal makes its home. It is the jungle deer. This creature is not like deer in open fields. It is a specialist, perfectly adapted to the tropical environment. Its coat is often darker, helping it blend into deep shadows of the undergrowth. Its body is compact and muscular, built for moving silently through tangled vines and dense thickets. The jungle deer is a master of camouflage and stealth. Imagine standing at the edge of this immense forest. The sounds are a symphony of the wild. A distant primate howls. The sharp cry of a hornbill echoes through the trees. The humidity clings to your skin. Every leaf, every branch seems to hold a story. It is here, in the heart of this vibrant ecosystem, that the jungle deer begins its day. It moves with a purpose that is both cautious and confident. Every step is deliberate. Every sound is noted. This is not just a place it lives. It is a world it knows intimately. The safest places to rest, the hidden trails that lead to water. The story of the jungle deer is a journey into this hidden realm. It is a story of adaptation, of survival against the odds, of a delicate balance between predator and prey. To understand this animal is to understand a vital part of the jungle. See the forest as a complex, interconnected community. We will follow this creature through its daily life. We will learn how it finds food, how it raises its young, how it avoids the many dangers that lurk in the shadows of its home. The jungle deer is an embodiment of quiet elegance. Watch one as it moves through the forest. It does not crash through the underbrush. Instead, it glides. Each hoof is placed with precision, avoiding dry leaves and brittle twigs that might betray its presence. Its steps are measured, almost silent, a testament to a life spent in a world where sound can mean the difference between life and death. The deer's movements are fluid, a dance of caution and grace. It can freeze in an instant, becoming a living statue. Its ears work to decipher the signals carried on the jungle air. Its nose works to decipher the signals carried on the jungle air. This creature's senses are its primary tools for survival, honed to a razor's edge by evolution. Its large funnel-shaped ears swivel independently, catching the faintest of sounds, the snap of a twig, the rustle of a predator in the leaves, or the soft call of another deer. Nothing escapes its notice. Its sense of smell is equally remarkable. The deer's moist, dark nose constantly samples the air, reading the complex tapestry of scents that drift through the forest. It can detect the presence of a predator long before it can be seen or heard, giving it precious moments to plan its escape into the dense foliage. Vision is also critical, but it is a different kind of seeing. In the low, dappled light of the jungle, the ability to detect movement is more important than seeing fine detail or vibrant color. The deer's eyes, positioned on the sides of its head, provide a wide field of view. This panoramic vision allows it to monitor its surroundings for any hint of motion, any shape that seems out of place in the familiar pattern of trees and vines. When it senses danger, it does not wait to confirm its suspicions. The deer's first instinct is always to flee, melting back into the shadows from which it came. This life of constant vigilance has shaped every aspect of the deer's being. It is a creature of habit and routine, but it is also capable of instant, decisive action. It spends its life walking a fine line between curiosity and caution. The need to find food, water, and a mate pushes it forward, while the constant threat of danger holds it in a state of perpetual alertness. This balance defines the essence of the jungle deer. It is not an aggressive animal, nor is it a timid one. It is a survivor, a quiet participant in the grand, ongoing drama of the jungle. The story of the jungle deer is more than just a tale about a single animal. It is a window into the health of the entire jungle ecosystem. Deer are a keystone species in many forests. As herbivores, they shape the vegetation. By browsing on specific plants, they influence which trees and shrubs thrive and which do not. They maintain clearings and pathways, creating a mosaic of habitats. That mosaic benefits countless smaller creatures. Insects, ground-dwelling birds. Their presence signals a balanced, functioning forest. These deer are a vital link in the food chain. They are a primary food source for the jungle's top predators: tigers, leopards, dholes. The health and abundance of deer directly impact these hunters. A forest with thriving deer can support its predators. When deer numbers decline, the effects ripple upward. The quiet, unassuming deer stands as a pillar supporting iconic predators. Its well-being is tied to theirs. Studying the jungle deer teaches us about adaptation. It shows how a species carves out a niche in a competitive environment. The deer's traits, keen senses and cautious behavior, are lessons in survival. These traits are the result of millions of years of evolution. Understanding deer adaptation reveals the delicate connections that bind life to environment. It's a reminder of nature's ingenuity. Telling the deer's story is telling the jungle's story. We explore interconnectedness, predator-prey balance, and the need to preserve wild spaces. The challenges faced by the deer: natural predators, human activity. Their fate reflects our relationship with the natural world. Their story matters, a barometer for the health of vital wild places, a call to listen, to understand, and to protect. The jungle is not one single type of place. It is a rich tapestry of different environments, each with its own unique character. Jungle deer have adapted to live in a remarkable variety of these tropical and subtropical forests. They can be found in the dense, humid lowlands of Southeast Asia, where the air is heavy and the canopy overhead is so thick that daylight barely breaks through. They also thrive in the montane forests of the Himalayas, where cooler temperatures and misty slopes create a different kind of world. These deer are versatile. They have learned to make a home in many different kinds of jungle. Their preferred habitat, however, almost always includes a mix of dense cover and more open spaces. The dense undergrowth, tangled vines, broad-leaved plants, thorny bushes is essential for their survival. This is their refuge. It is where they can hide from predators, rest without fear, give birth to their young in seclusion. Without this thick cover, the deer would be too exposed, too vulnerable to the many dangers that patrol the forest. It is their fortress, a natural shield woven from the very fabric of the jungle itself, providing them with the security they need to live their lives. Yet, they cannot spend all their time in the deepest thickets. They also need access to more open areas, such as forest clearings, riverbanks, the edges of the jungle. These are the places where the most nutritious food is often found. Sunlight can reach the ground in these areas. Tender grasses, herbs, young shoots that form the core of the deer's diet. These clearings act as natural gardens, providing the sustenance the deer need to maintain their strength and health. The ideal home for a jungle deer is one that offers this perfect balance between a safe, dark hiding place and a bright, open dining area. This combination of different habitat types is what allows a healthy deer population to flourish. A forest that is all one thing, either completely open or uniformly dense, is less suitable. The deer need variety. They need a mosaic of environments within their territory. This allows them to move between different areas depending on the time of day, the season, and the presence of danger. The jungle is not just a random collection of trees. It is a structured and complex landscape. The deer know how to read this landscape, navigating its intricate patterns to find everything they need for their quiet and cautious existence. Water is the lifeblood of the jungle, and for the deer, it is a daily necessity. They are never found far from a reliable source of water. This could be a wide, slow-moving river, a small, gurgling stream, or even a seasonal water hole that fills during the rainy months. They need to drink every day, especially in the heat and humidity of their tropical home. The water not only quenches their thirst, but also helps them digest the tough plant matter that makes up their diet. Because of this, their daily movements and the very location of their home range are often dictated by the proximity of a water source. Visiting a river or stream is one of the most dangerous parts of a deer's day. These open areas offer little cover. Predators know this. They often lie in wait near watering holes, using the deer's need for water as an opportunity to hunt. The deer are acutely aware of this risk. They approach water with extreme caution. A deer will often stand at the edge of the forest for a long time before emerging to drink. It will use all its senses, listening for any suspicious sound and smelling the air for the scent of a predator. Only when it feels completely safe will it venture out for a quick drink, ready to bolt at the slightest hint of danger. Water sources are more than just a place to drink. They are also centers of social activity for many jungle animals. Here, the deer might encounter other species, wild boars, monkeys that come down from the trees. These interactions are usually peaceful, a kind of temporary truce declared at the water's edge. The presence of other alert animals can even provide an extra layer of security. The sharp alarm call of a bird or a monkey can warn the deer of a predator's approach long before the deer would have detected it on its own. The watering hole is a place of both great risk and shared vigilance. The rivers and streams also serve as natural pathways through the dense jungle. Deer will often walk along the banks or even wade through shallow water to move from one part of their territory to another. Water can wash away their scent, making it harder for predators to track them. In areas that flood during the monsoon season, deer become adept at navigating a watery world, swimming across channels to reach patches of higher ground where they can find food and rest. Their relationship with water is complex. It is a source of life, a point of danger, and a tool for navigation and survival in their forest home. For an animal that is constantly on alert, rest is not a luxury. It is a vital necessity. Jungle deer must find safe places to rest, digest their food, and escape the heat of the day. These resting spots, often called beds, are carefully chosen for maximum security. A deer will not simply lie down anywhere. It seeks out a location that offers excellent cover and good visibility of the surrounding area. A favorite spot might be within a dense thicket of bamboo, under the low-hanging leaves of a large fern, or at the base of a fallen tree that provides a natural barrier. The deer creates its bed by trampling down the vegetation in a small circle, just large enough for its body. It will often lie with its back against a log or a dense bush, which protects it from an attack from behind. From this position, it faces outward, usually downwind, so that its nose can catch the scent of any approaching danger carried on the breeze. Even while resting, the deer is not truly asleep in the way we are. It dozes lightly, its ears constantly swiveling, its body ready to spring into action in an instant. This state of half-sleep allows it to conserve energy without ever fully letting down its guard. The location of these beds is not random. A deer will typically have several preferred resting spots scattered throughout its home range. It will rotate between them, avoiding using the same spot too frequently. This prevents predators from learning its habits and setting up an ambush. The choice of bed may also change with the weather. On a hot day, a deer will seek a shady, cool spot with good air circulation. During a cold or rainy period, it might choose a more sheltered location, protected from the wind and rain by a dense canopy of leaves above. Every choice is a calculated decision aimed at survival. This need for secure shelter is especially critical for a mother with a newborn fawn. For the first few weeks of its life, a fawn is too weak to run from predators. The mother will hide her fawn in the densest cover she can find while she goes off to feed. The fawn's spotted coat provides excellent camouflage, and it has been taught by instinct to lie perfectly still, blending in with the forest floor. The mother returns periodically to nurse it, but for much of the day, the fawn's survival depends entirely on the quality of its hiding place. The sanctuary of shelter is the foundation of the next generation. The jungle deer's day begins in the soft gray light of dawn. This is a time of peak activity. As the first rays of sun begin to pierce the canopy, the forest awakens, and so does the deer. It rises from its resting spot, stretches its muscles, and begins its morning search for food. The air is cool, leaves often still wet with dew. This period, along with the evening, is known as a crepuscular time. Many animals, deer and their predators, are most active now. Low light provides cover, making it safer than midday glare. The deer moves from secure cover toward a preferred feeding ground, grassy clearing at the forest edge, riverbank where fresh green shoots are plentiful. The journey is made with caution. The deer walks slowly, pausing every few steps to lift its head. Pause to listen, pause to test the air. Movements deliberate and quiet. In this morning light, the deer must find a large portion of its daily food. It browses steadily, nipping the most tender leaves, nipping young shoots, nipping flowers. It eats quickly, yet stays alert. This foraging is more than filling its stomach. It's the first stage of a complex digestive process. Deer are ruminants. They have a four-chambered stomach. During initial feeding, they swallow quickly with minimal chewing. Partially chewed food enters the rumen, where it's stored. Later, while resting in safety, the deer regurgitates the cud and chews it thoroughly. This lets them gather lots of food fast, minimizing exposure. As morning progresses and the sun climbs, activity wanes. Heat and bright light make open areas risky. Predators remain a threat, and a dark coat absorbs heat. After an hour or two of intense feeding, the deer heads back to dense cover. It seeks a chosen resting spot to begin the quiet, watchful cud chewing and digestion in safety. A jungle deer does not eat indiscriminately. It is a highly selective forager, demonstrating a remarkable ability to distinguish between high-quality food and plants that are less nutritious or even harmful. As it moves through the forest, it is constantly making choices. It will often sniff a leaf before deciding whether to eat it, using its powerful sense of smell to assess its quality. The deer is searching for plants that are high in protein, high in minerals, low in tough-to-digest fiber, low in defensive chemicals. Young leaves, new shoots are often preferred, offering a concentrated burst of energy and nutrients. This selectivity is a learned behavior, passed down from mother to fawn, but it is also guided by instinct. The deer has an innate ability to recognize the general characteristics of good food. It is drawn to the vibrant green of new growth and the soft texture of young leaves. Conversely, it tends to avoid older, tougher leaves, harder to chew and digest, which have had more time to accumulate defensive toxins. These toxins are a plant's natural armor, evolved to deter herbivores. The deer's selective foraging is a clever counter-strategy, allowing it to feast on the plant's most vulnerable and valuable parts while avoiding its chemical defenses. The consequences of a poor dietary choice can be severe. Eating the wrong plant could lead to digestive upset, a lack of energy, or even poisoning. Therefore, the deer's foraging process is a careful and deliberate one. You will not see it devouring an entire bush. Instead, it takes a few leaves from one plant, a shoot from another, a flower from a third. This method of feeding, known as bout feeding, helps to diversify its nutrient intake and minimizes the risk of consuming a harmful dose of any single plant toxin. It is a sophisticated nutritional strategy that ensures the deer remains healthy and strong in a chemically complex environment. This art of choosing plants has a profound effect on the forest itself. By selectively browsing, the deer influences which plant species thrive and which are kept in check. They can act as natural gardeners, pruning certain shrubs and encouraging the growth of others. For example, by feeding on the fast-growing saplings of a dominant tree species, they can create openings in the canopy that allow more sunlight to reach the forest floor. This, in turn, allows a greater variety of smaller plants to grow, increasing the overall biodiversity of the understory. The deer's daily meal is not just a personal act of survival. It is an act that helps shape the structure and composition of its entire jungle home. In the dense, visually cluttered world of the jungle, sound is often the first and most reliable indicator of what is happening around you. For the jungle deer, hearing is arguably its most critical sense, a finely tuned early warning system that is always active. The deer's ears are large, funnel-shaped structures, designed to capture and amplify the faintest of sounds. They can move independently of each other, swiveling in a wide arc of almost 180 degrees. This allows the deer to pinpoint the exact direction of a sound without having to turn its head, a crucial advantage when trying to remain hidden or when listening for multiple sounds at once from different directions. Imagine the deer standing perfectly still in the undergrowth. One ear might be angled forward, listening for the rustle of leaves that could signal an approaching predator. The other ear might be turned backward, monitoring the sounds from behind. It is a living, breathing radar dish, constantly scanning the acoustic landscape of the forest. The deer can distinguish between the normal, non-threatening sounds of its home. The wind in the leaves, the drip of water, the call of a familiar bird, and the subtle, unusual sounds that spell danger. The snap of a twig under a heavy paw, the soft swish of a body moving through tall grass, or the distressed cry of another animal are all instantly recognized as threats. This reliance on hearing shapes the deer's entire existence. It is why they move with such deliberate silence, placing each hoof carefully to avoid making noise that could mask the sounds around them or betray their own location. It is also why they often freeze when they hear something unfamiliar, giving themselves a moment of complete silence to better analyze the sound and determine its source and intent. This auditory vigilance never ceases, not even when the deer is resting or chewing its cud. Its ears are always on duty, a pair of vigilant sentinels guarding against the ever-present dangers of the jungle. The deer's hearing is not just for detecting predators, it is also essential for communication with other deer. A mother deer uses soft bleats and grunts to stay in contact with her fawn when they are separated in the dense vegetation. The sharp barking alarm call of one deer instantly alerts others in the vicinity to a threat. During the mating season, the calls and sounds made by bucks help them to establish dominance and attract females. The jungle is a symphony of sounds, and the deer is an expert listener, capable of interpreting every note, from the quietest whisper of danger to the reassuring call of its own kind. Jungle deer are often perceived as solitary animals, and while many males do live alone for much of the year, this is not the whole story. The fundamental social unit in the deer world is the matriarchal group, an adult female, her fawns from the current year, sometimes her female offspring from the previous year. This small family group is the core of deer society. The doe is the leader, and her experience and knowledge are vital to the survival of her young. She teaches them the boundaries of their home range, the locations of food and water, the best hiding places, and how to recognize danger. Life in a group offers significant advantages, primarily safety in numbers. Collective vigilance is a powerful defense against predators. With more individuals scanning for danger, the chances of detecting a threat early are greatly increased. When one member of the group sounds the alarm, all benefit. This is especially important for the vulnerable fawns, who rely on the heightened senses of their mother and other adults for protection. The group provides a shield of awareness that a single individual simply cannot match. It is a simple but effective survival strategy. These family groups are not always stable. The size and composition can change throughout the year. During times of abundant food, such as the wet season, several family groups may come together to form larger, temporary herds in prime feeding areas. These larger aggregations are generally loose and unstructured, with individuals and family units coming and going. In the lean, dry season, these large herds may break apart again as competition for scarce resources increases. The social life of the deer is fluid, adapting to the changing conditions of their environment and the availability of food. Within these groups, there is a clear social hierarchy, or pecking order, which is maintained through subtle body language and occasional displays of mild aggression, such as a sharp kick with a front hoof or a brief chase. This hierarchy helps to reduce conflict over resources. The dominant individuals get preferential access to the best feeding spots, but the presence of the group still provides security for all its members. The social fabric of deer life, woven from family bonds and the constant need for safety, is a quiet but resilient network that supports them through the challenges of their jungle existence. Section 5. The jungle's hunters, the main predators. The life of a jungle deer is lived under a constant shadow, the ever-present threat of predation. The jungle is home to some of the world's most formidable hunters. Deer are a primary food source for many of them. The top predator in many Asian jungles is the tiger. This powerful and solitary cat is a master of ambush. It uses its striped coat to blend into the tall grass and shadows, stalking its prey with immense patience and stealth. A tiger can bring down even the largest of bucks, often launching its attack from behind with a sudden, explosive burst of speed, aiming for the neck or throat. Another major threat is the leopard. Smaller and more agile than the tiger, the leopard is an incredibly versatile hunter. It is just as comfortable in the trees as it is on the ground. A leopard might lie in wait on a thick branch overhanging a deer trail, dropping down onto its unsuspecting victim from above. Its spotted coat provides perfect camouflage in the dappled light of the forest. Leopards are strong enough to kill adult deer, and they often drag their kill up into a tree to keep it safe from other scavengers, tigers' packs of wild dogs. Their adaptability makes them a constant danger throughout the deer's habitat. In some parts of the jungle, deer also face the threat of a pack-hunting predator, the dhole, or Asiatic wild dog. Dholes are highly social animals that hunt in large, cooperative groups. They are not ambush predators like the big cats. Instead, they are endurance hunters. A pack of dholes will single out a deer and pursue it relentlessly through the forest, a long-distance chase that can last for miles. They work together to corner their prey, eventually overwhelming it through sheer numbers and stamina. The chilling, whistling calls of a dhole pack on the hunt are one of the most feared sounds in the jungle. Even the smallest fawns are not safe. They face threats from a wider array of predators. Large pythons can easily swallow a young fawn whole. Birds of prey, like eagles, can snatch them from the ground. Jackals and even large monitor lizards will prey on fawns if they discover their hiding places. Danger lurks everywhere, from the ground to the trees to the sky. This constant predatory pressure has shaped every aspect of the deer's existence, from its razor-sharp senses and its cautious behavior to its reproductive strategies. The deer is an animal sculpted by fear, a survivor in a world of hunters. The traditional dangers faced by the jungle deer, the tiger's ambush, the leopard's stealth, the lean months of the dry season, are ancient challenges to which it has adapted over millennia. Today, however, a new and more pervasive threat casts a long shadow over its world: the growing impact of human activity. This is a danger for which evolution has not prepared it. The most significant threat is habitat loss. Around the world, jungles are shrinking at an alarming rate. Forests are cleared for agriculture, for timber, for mining, for the expansion of cities and towns. Every acre of forest that falls is an acre of home that the deer loses forever. As their habitat shrinks, the remaining forest becomes fragmented. Large, continuous jungles are broken up into smaller, isolated patches, like islands in a sea of human development. For the deer, this is a devastating blow. They are trapped in these smaller fragments, unable to move between them to find mates or new sources of food and water. This isolation leads to inbreeding, which weakens the genetic health of the population and makes it more vulnerable to disease. Roads and highways cut through their traditional home ranges, creating deadly barriers. For an animal that needs space to live, this fragmentation is a slow and certain strangulation. The deer also face the direct threat of poaching. In many parts of the world, deer are hunted illegally for their meat and, in some cases, for their hides or other body parts. Poachers use snares, traps, firearms methods that the deer's natural defenses are powerless against. This pressure is often most intense in the fragmented forests near human settlements, where the deer have nowhere to retreat. The constant threat of poaching adds another layer of fear to the deer's already vigilant existence, pushing them further into the few remaining cores of deep, undisturbed jungle. This relentless hunting can decimate local populations, creating an unnatural silence in the forest. Even when not directly targeted, human presence changes the jungle in subtle ways. The encroachment of livestock can introduce diseases to which the wild deer have no immunity. The collection of firewood and other forest products can degrade the undergrowth that the deer rely on for food and cover. The noise and activity from nearby villages or tourist operations can disrupt their natural behaviors, causing stress and forcing them to abandon preferred areas. The human shadow is long and complex, bringing a host of new challenges that threaten to overwhelm the deer's ancient strategies for survival and push this quiet guardian toward an uncertain future. The story of the jungle deer does not have to end in silence. Its future, and the future of the jungles it inhabits, now rests in our hands. The challenges are significant, but they are not insurmountable. The most critical step is the protection of their habitat and the restoration of their habitat. This means supporting efforts to create national parks and supporting efforts to expand wildlife reserves. It means working to create wildlife corridors, strips of forested land that connect fragmented habitats. These corridors act as bridges, allowing deer to move safely between forest islands, allowing other animals to move safely between forest islands. Maintaining genetic diversity, maintaining healthy populations. Conservation is not only the work of governments, nor only the work of large organizations. It is also about fostering a sense of respect and stewardship among the local communities that live alongside these forests. Many successful conservation programs work by providing local people with alternative livelihoods that do not depend on exploiting the jungle's resources. When communities benefit from the health of the forest, they become its most passionate defenders. Through ecotourism, through sustainable enterprises, educating the next generation about the importance of wildlife and the delicate balance of their local ecosystem is a powerful investment in the future, creating a culture of coexistence rather than conflict. On an individual level, we can all contribute. We can make conscious choices as consumers, support companies committed to deforestation-free products. We can lend our voices to conservation efforts, advocating for stronger environmental protections. We can support organizations that are on the ground, working to combat poaching, working to restore habitats, working to protect the world's last wild places. The fate of the jungle deer is tied to our own collective choices. Every action, no matter how small, can contribute to a larger wave of positive change, helping to turn the tide for these vulnerable animals. The jungle deer asks for nothing but the space to live as it has for countless generations. It is a creature of quiet dignity, a symbol of the wildness and mystery that still exists in our world. To protect it is to protect the intricate web of life that it represents. It is to preserve the health of our planet's lungs and the biodiversity they hold. Let us listen to the story this silent creature tells. Let it be a call to action, a reminder of our shared responsibility to be thoughtful guardians of the natural world. Let us ensure that the graceful shadow of the deer continues to move through the jungle's dappled light for generations to come.